Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Welcome back, tennis fans. God, it feels like it has been an age since we last saw you all. I can only apologize. We've been super busy, haven't we, JG? We have been running around the whole of London. It seems like it was on a ridiculous, I don't know, it was like deja vu every day. One day we were at home, then we were at your flat, then we're at the Royal Albert Hall, then we're back at your flat, then we're back to the Royal Albert Hall, back at your flat. But we had a great time, didn't we? And I'm sure everybody's already seen. We got to speak to just some legends of the game, and I'm still a bit in shock and a bit in awe and don't quite believe that it actually happened. What happened on Super Saturday, it will go down in history, the 27th of November. God.
Are you going to invite me on the podcast, or are we just going to hear you talk about the weekend?
I'm going to talk about it for a bit more if you want.
Just sitting here listening to you. No, it was quite nice, to be fair. I feel like I was one of the guests on the podcast.
Well, you are in a way. So am I.
It was a great time. We had a really good one. We'll be releasing a vlog in due course. Of course, we've been super busy with work commitments, everything else. And like I put in the tweet earlier, life doing life. But we are going to be back now. We're going to be doing more podcasts. We've got end of year awards coming up. We've got Rafael Nadal returning, Dominic Thiem. We've got, I know we're catching the end of Davis Cup as that's happening as well. And there's just so much to talk about with tennis. I think the Australian Open, I did see the other day, 50-day countdown. I'm assuming that's probably in the 40s now. Yeah. So much happening here with tennis, and we're going to be covering as much of it as possible. To start things off, though, the title, as you've seen, Rafael Nadal returns. It's been the big podcast we've been waiting to do for some time, but he's back in Abu Dhabi in about 14 days' time.
Yes, the big man.
And I say about, like I didn't know exactly the exact day when he's going to be back because it's eagerly anticipated.
Yeah, almost like you didn't
like 14
have 14
days, 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 28 seconds until Rafa's back on court.
Has it on his calendar. I was at his flat. There is a big circle on his calendar. Rafa returns, it says, and do not book anything on this date. There's arrows pointing to it like a big fanatic on a calendar. I've never seen anything quite like it, really. It was quite nice to see the Rafa bed covers that JG has at his flat as well. They're quite nice.
Honestly, though, joking aside, you're excited.
Let's
be honest. You're not
really
Rafa's biggest fan, but you're excited. I can't wait to see him back on court. We need him. I just need to see him playing tennis again. I know it's an exhibition, but it's just so exciting. We're going to have Dominic Thiem playing in it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's get into it anyway, because I know we've got some graphics to share. Before I do this, I want to give a shout out to Daria G in the chat, one of our new patrons. Appreciate that for joining the Patreon. Hopefully you like some of the exclusive content over there. If you want to join and go see our interview with David Frere, Thomas Burditch, go check it out and join the Patreon for as little as £3 a month, just like Daria G did over there. Shout out to some of the other people who have joined us. Great to see you in. Ollie Patone, DJ as well, and LS Fire. Apologies, we were slightly late.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. And here we have this graphic. 88 career titles. 13 French Open champion. 4-time US Open champion. 2-time Wimbledon champion. 1-time Australian Open champion. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Rafael Nadal is back on court. We get to see him. I can't wait. I really can't wait. And like I said, 14 days time, we get to see him playing in a not real competitive environment, but they're going to give it their best because it's a good preparation and it's good for him to see where he's at with his injury. Of course, he's had such a horrid injury, which limited him so much in that semi-final of Roland Garros against Djokovic. And I feel like he would have won if he wasn't injured. No, joking aside, but he is back and I can't wait for it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the guest now. I'm joking. I'm going to say something that will probably surprise some people. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the return of Rafael Nadal, but it has been increased in my mind, this Rafael Nadal return, just simply because we were there with David Ferrer and just hit. It was the closest thing you could get to being next to Rafa for me. Speaking to David Ferrer, like face to face, shaking his hand, hearing his insight into like the young players on tour, like Carlos Alcaraz, and just hearing the way he pronounces words, like the power and the oh mate, it was just that type of thing. It gets me excited. And
you do realize any Spanish guy would have sounded the same.
Nah, they wouldn't, because they don't
mate.
They don't have. He has a philosophical look towards the game, and I know Rafa is exactly the same. And that it just got me psyched up for Rafa's return. Speaking, I'm just surprised we didn't even really get to speak much about Rafa to him. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see Rafa return, though. Obviously, he's missed massive.
Wait, Ben, quickly, where is Rafa returning? If you go to the right there, we can see. So scrolling over to the right, we can see Abu Dhabi, the Zayed Sports Cities Tennis Stadium, December 16th to the 18th. And I believe he's won this event 5 times before.
Tickets available. Yeah. I'm super excited to see it, just because he's missed a massive chunk of this back end of the year. Obviously, it's due to injury. It's due to this foot problem that he has had, which I thought was crazy when we were discussing it on the podcast where we did the analysis of his foot problem, that he's actually had it before he won his first ever Grand Slam. So I'm not majorly concerned. I think that he's obviously doing it for a reason, to get more longevity in the sport. And I'm hoping now this is just going to be a little taster of Rafa easing himself back into the tour, ready for Australia. And who will he be facing in Australia? We still don't know who the lineup is, but Rafa will be there if he is fully fit after this tournament. That's sure.
The big news. He said he's playing in Australia and he's playing this as the preparation. So we don't know if Djokovic is going to be there. We did a podcast on that. We know the fact that they have to now be vaccinated to be there. Has Djokovic already been vaccinated? He's not. We don't know. It was wait and see. My opinion is he's not going to play this year's Australian Open. Ben thinks he's confident he will be there. John Silk agrees with him. So let's find out. But moving over to the next tab.
Sure.
We can see this is the order of play. We actually have it already. So it starts on the 16th of December. So maybe I was wrong, in fact, because we don't see Rafa then on the 16th. We'll see him in action on the 17th.
Yes.
He sort of misses the first day. Just not bad, really.
Some great players in this tournament, though.
Yeah, it kicks off with Denis Shapovalov, Casper Ruud, and the other one, Andy Murray, Dominic Thiem.
Love that. That is a great matchup. And what a great matchup for Dominic Thiem to really come back. I couldn't really have selected that better myself, really. If you're looking to come back and play somebody and have all the lights on the court, all the eyes on the court, no better than a former Grand Slam champion, someone who's been sort of playing very well this year. I mean, he's not been getting too deep in tournaments, but he still gave Tsitsipas an amazing match and went to 5 with him. So I think it's going to be a real test for Dominic Thiem and for Andy Murray as well. But great way to come back for Dominic Thiem. Love that. Hope we get to cover that one.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think Dominic Thiem, Andy Murray is a good matchup. I'm going to be cheering probably for Dominic Thiem because I want to see him push on. I predicted some really big things from him. I thought he was going to follow 2021 up with another Grand Slam. Of course, we didn't know the injury was going to happen. No. He, for me, was the best of the rest going into that. Medvedev, obviously, on the cuffs as well, especially on the hard courts indoors. But Dominic Thiem, I'm hoping he can just sort of get back into the fray and really push these guys, because I still think the most competitive matches with the big three have all come with Dominic Thiem. I think he pushes Rafa more than most and been better than him in the recent occasions they've played. And then with Djokovic, he also pushes him very far as well. Djokovic usually gets the better of him, but he makes it a very competitive encounter and one I love to watch. And that's all at the end of the day, We just want to watch competitive tennis where we're not sure what's going to happen and it's interesting and exciting, and you have to really push the other player to produce their best tennis. And I think Dominic Thiem, he allows and makes other players play their best tennis. So I'm hoping he has a really good year, and that'll be a nice way to start if he's able to beat Andy Murray here in this one. And then the winner of that will be playing Rafael Nadal the next day. The winner of the other match gets to play Andrei Rublev.
Careful what you wish for. I was going to say the winner plays Raducanu. No, don't. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. We're playing Rafael Nadal there at 7 o'clock the next day, and Rublev, either Casper Ruud or Denis Shapovalov. That's a really competitive matchup, that one. It's sort of floating under the radar, being overshadowed by Murray and Thiem there. Obviously, both Grand Slam champions, but Casper Ruud's had a really good year. But Shapo can turn it on when he wants to. Just whether or not, depends whether he wants to or not. I think Casper Ruud will fancy his chances there. But that was a 50-50, though. Ruud, Shapo. I mean, Shapo plays his best tennis. He could probably do him in straight sets. That's the reality of it. But how often do we get to see it? Maybe once every 5 or 6 matches, maybe?
Yeah.
So
Shapo's a bit of a frustrating one. But yeah, the only thing I'm really concerned about is the timings for it. I know it says Rafa's first match will be 7 p.m. I'm assuming that's the local time. Not sure how that works for us in the UK. But if we are able to cover any of these, we will certainly be doing it. Even Emma Raducanu, Belinda Bencic, gold medalist, US Open champion. That one could be quite an exciting one as well. And it is an exhibition. It's not going to be ultra competitive, but it's a bit of fun. And I've watched this tournament before when it was on, and I thought it was I quite enjoy it. I like the colour of the courts as well.
Yeah.
So let's see what we're in store for. I was here we go. Saturday the 3rd. I didn't realise there was more. 3rd place playoffs at 5 p.m. on the Saturday, and then you got the final 7 p.m.
So that 7 p.m. will be
Christmas.
If it is in the time in Dubai, then it will be 3 p.m. in UK time, just in case anybody's wondering. And if that's on a Saturday, prime time. So, but unless you're a football fan, but I don't think you can watch any of the matches live anyway at 3. So there you go. Amazing. You can watch that instead and then watch match of the day later.
Yeah, I think we're going to move on from Rafa now. We've done, I could talk about him all day, as you know.
Yeah.
Just quickly, before we go on to the next topic, Daria here in the chat saying, great interview, guys. I enjoyed listening to them. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining the Patreon. If you want to listen to our most recent interviews with David Ferret and Thomas Burgess in person, go check out the Patreon for as little as £3 a month. You can listen to them right now. But moving on to some more dates and timings, some big news today, and that's the ATP have released the calendar for 2022. Yeah. And I know you've been pretty busy, so you've not had the chance to look at it. So this is a sort of a first glance for you. We kind of know, I think they've done it up until Wimbledon. So we've got up until July. But if you zoom in, we can see we're starting things off, start of the year, 1st of January, ATP Cup time.
Wow.
So I'm not messing around. It's going to be
New Year's, some hungover players.
Yeah, it's going to be not many New Year's Eve celebrations. You wouldn't think?
No, that's a bit harsh. But
and Rafa is skipping the ATP Cup. Another thing to add, he's going to be coming back in the 250. I think is it Melbourne or Adelaide? I'm not sure which one it is, but he's coming back to one of the 250s before the Australian Open.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Get yourself a little bit.
Do you think that's wise for him to skip the ATP Cup?
Yeah, I think so. If you can get one tournament in, I think it's fine. I don't think he needs the ATP Cup. It would be nice to see him there, but I think he only needs one warm-up tournament for me before a Grand Slam, and then he's pretty much similar to like the other big players. You can sort of use the first few rounds to be the rest of the warm-up for that tournament. So I think he'll be okay. It's a bit weird, isn't it? That these sports players, they don't, like, even with football, there's normally 1st of Jan matches for football as well, isn't there? So don't get a day off. No one gets a good.
You've got to remember though, the ATP Cup is a bit of a select few. Not everyone's obviously going to be in it. It's only going to be the elite players from each nation. So it's going to be a select few. I think there's 16 teams, so I think I can see it on the right. But just moving down, it's good for us on the podcast as well, because this is like the first time we're covering, in theory, a fullish season, you'd think. I don't know. I know last year there was a few tournaments which were off the calendar. And it's great that with a lot of these tournaments we covered last year on the podcast for a first time, we're now covering them again. Yeah. And I feel like I'm very familiar with the calendar. Obviously, we've always been tennis fans, but now we know the calendar a lot better through doing the podcast and doing draw previews for all of these. And we will be doing draw previews for every single one of these, like we did last year. So make sure to join us in the Tennis Bracket League. You can win money, prizes, and lots of things. And it's all for free at the moment. We're going to be having a paid one as well to win extra money. But right now, we've got a lot of free stuff going on over at the tennis app. So make sure to download the app on Android or iPhone and join our fantasy league. Looking at down the schedule, January is a good one.
I was just looking at that. It just actually brings me back memories of, do you remember when we first started the podcast?
I know what you're going to say.
2 years ago. Yeah, and we were looking at, and we were talking about these 3 tournaments. I remember us discussing Montpellier, Cordoba, and the Poon. That was what we were talking about.
Hair was in the Poon, wasn't it?
Exactly. It was. No, I remember it so well, so vividly. If you want to go check out those really old podcasts of us sitting in a meeting room at work, just the start of how everything began, it was a bit bizarre that now we're talking about these tournaments, and now it's a part of the regular calendar that we're actually going to be doing every single year. But Australia's moved this year. Last year it moved. Now we've moved back, which I'm happy with. That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be the first normal year, which is nice. We've got Vanch in the chat. Shout out to you. Saying I'll be alive. Yeah, apologies. We've not been doing many podcasts. Life's been doing life, but we are back. On to February. So I don't want to spend too long on these. It's pretty much standard. I think the Rio Open is one I particularly like. I love that one. It's a clay court event.
I like the Delray Beach one as well.
Delray Beach is good. Yeah, some good ones there. Moving down into March. This is where we're going to have, look at this, Indian Wells in March. Back to its normal spot. It's going to be, I think it's going back to maybe, it's not going to be a 2-week tournament anymore. Is that right?
It looks like it is, to be honest. No, or is it 10th of March to the 23rd? Yeah, 2 weeks. So, yeah, it will be a 2-week tournament.
No, that's Miami. Miami starts on the 23rd.
Yeah, I know, but you go to the 17th and then to the 23rd.
Okay, fair enough. And then we've got Miami. Maybe it's not finalised. It'll be good if it is. You've got 96 players in each draw.
Because look at the weeks. Week 10 and then week 11. So
okay. So we've got 2 Masters there, Indian Wells and Miami.
Yeah, love that.
Moving on to April. Double. My personal favourite Masters event, as everyone knows, Monte Carlo. That's in the calendar. Belgrade, Barcelona is really good. I think April's a good month for tennis. Maybe I'm being biased. I like the April-May tennis.
Well, I like the May events. One. May, for me, I know that you're going to say, oh, God, how come you're saying that? It's Roland Garros. But Rome is included in that, and Madrid, and I love those 2 tournaments. And Roland Garros just tops it all off at the end for me. I mean, how good's our Roland Garros or how good have they been over the last 2 years? But since we've been doing this, incredible. So,
and even bigger news with Roland Garros this year, we're going to be there. Most likely.
I know.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this yet. But for people joining us, I'm going to touch wood right now because I know there's a lot of COVID variants and everything else happening in the world.
Say it.
Me and Ben are heading to Paris in May, and we're hoping to be there. My birthday is in May as well, so I'm not sure if I'll be out there for that.
What May?
I don't know. I'll have to see. It's not a bad way to spend your birthday watching.
I don't even want to talk about it until we know all the travel stuff. I'm just too paranoid about it all. So I'm just hoping everything goes back to normal. We've got 6 months. Let's hope everything's back to normal.
Into June? So we're gonna.
That's as far as we go, by the looks.
Yeah, and June's just one of their months.
Wimbledon.
It's more the Ben month. This is.
Yeah, we've got you got your Eastbourne, you got your Mallorca, you got your Queens, and you got your Halle. I love it. All these grass court ones all in a row, the best.
Nice. I'm not sure if things can obviously move around still. It's a bit uncertain time still, so stuff can change. but this
Yeah.
is just the provisional calendar for the year. I thought it'd be interesting to share. But
Looks
moving
great.
on to equally important, if not the most important thing, probably something we wanted to start with.
Yeah.
But Rafa stole the limelight like he usually does. But Peng Shuai, still,
Yeah.
it's all unraveling. It's still, the story keeps ever growing. We've got the ATP chairman issuing a statement, the WTA issuing a statement, the IOCE, the Olympic Committee, issuing a statement today, and they're all very different. I think start off with, I know we're going to start. Do you mind starting with the WTA one first?
Sure. Is it the
Because I think,
next?
that's this one.
Yeah.
This is a more, I want to start with positive story, because the WTA, what they've
Yes.
done,
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
really
a big
good.
body with a lot of money. They're going to be hurt by this more than anyone else. This will affect them more than the Olympics, anyone, because they're not someone who has endless pools of cash. And for them, so what they've done is, with the full support of the WTA board of directors, I'm announcing the immediate suspension of all WTA tournaments in China, including Hong Kong. Hats off to them.
Yeah. I
And
think
Steve Simon, I believe, the guy.
Yeah, I think it's great what they're doing. I noticed that, isn't it the same? I saw something Gene posted on Discord as well. I think it's from ITF Tennis as well. That I think the same thing is, or similar things are happening throughout the tennis world now with ATP as well. And but the WTA are the ones who are coming out with the biggest, harshest stance on the whole thing, and I think they should. Obviously, the biggest tournaments for women's tennis are going to be out there. I'm still not convinced. I'm sure the whole world's not really convinced by what we've seen. We've seen video footage. We've seen a really weak statement that's come out that doesn't sound like it was written by her at all. And we don't really know about the safety of her at the moment, or her family, or anyone like that. We don't really know the ins and outs of anything. There's no way of us actually finding out. And it doesn't seem like she can just speak freely about anything. So until we find, until she's actually able to meet someone in person, or able to actually say something more than just a statement that just gets put out into the press, then I don't think we're really going to know what's going on. And it's still a bit worrying, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it doesn't. We've no one's heard from her directly, and it just feels like it's not been. It's just been sort of squashed over by people inside China to try and make people sharp about it. But all it's
She
done
did
is
some
made more
appearances,
people
didn't she?
talk about it. No one believes what they're saying. She's still missing. She said some some really controversial things, which I completely stand. Well, you don't know that, but I believe her what she's saying, and all of a sudden gone missing. It happens far too often in China. And now the WTA have made a good stance. On the other side of things, though, the ATP, weak, pathetic, flimsy, waste of time. What's the point? Move over, Ben.
Yeah, on to the ATP. Sorry.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I wasn't saying
Apologies.
the WTA's ones like that.
No.
And we've got Andrea Gadenzi, the ATP chairman, saying the situation involving Peng Shuai continues to raise serious concerns within and beyond our sport. The response to those concerns has far fallen short. We again urge for a line of open, direct communication between the player and the WTA in order to establish a clearer picture of our situation. We know that sport can have positive influence on society, and generally believe that having a global presence gives us the best chance of creating opportunity and making an impact. We will continue to consult with our members and monitor any developments as this issue evolves. Waste of time. Flimsy, doesn't mean anything. It's just trying to tick some boxes.
Just a
They're not
statement.
doing anything. Just a PR. It's not even. It's just actually. It's been terrible for the ATP. It's a bad look. There's people calling for him to resign.
I don't understand it really. How
There's no point even coming out and saying that. There's no sub. It's just not doing anything.
Nothing statement, isn't it? Really, just like, oh, by the way, we've got to make sure you put out that thing because there's that tennis player's gone missing. Yeah. Make sure you put that statement out. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll put one out. Don't confirm anything or deny anything or say what we're doing. Just make sure you put something out.
Not one mention of China either.
No, just put something out.
They're petrified.
Just put something out. That's
Well,
it.
then money's talking for them. They're not going to pull
For
out of any events in China, and they're going to stick with it. But the WTA have, and that's going to affect them more. And listen, I'm going to do all we can on this podcast to promote women's tennis and certainly the WTA
for
because
sure.
they've done a good deed here and something which is protecting not necessarily their best interests in terms of they're an operation when needs to run off financial means, but they're doing it out of good intention and for human life and for a level of care to an
Yeah.
individual who right now we don't know but is under threat, you'd think.
But yeah, there's no way of telling. That's the problem. And until we actually know the full details, maybe they're erring on the side of caution just in case everything's all right. And then they didn't have to take such a hard stance. And they're like, see, look, there you go. We took the right stance now. Didn't go too hard on it. And now we can still do the events in China. I don't know what. I just think WTA have got I don't know. Normally when there isn't any, you don't hear anything, it's for a reason. Like if she was willing to, if she wanted to speak out or if she wanted to say something, I'm sure she would have said something by now. This is the thing. Like, I know that everybody like tries to look at it from two sides, but normally there's a reason behind why there's no activity. Like, you just think like, oh, how active was she before? She was probably quite an active person if she was a very big tennis star and big on social media. And now they've shut down people searching tennis or her name in social media to even prevent other people finding out about it in China. It just, I don't know. It's just it's a very strange thing that I don't think it can be ignored. And I just think we need to find out what's going on there. We don't know the ins and outs. It's bizarre. There's part of me I'm this like level of concern, and I'm just not happy with what we've seen so far. They've shown some like video press releases and stuff. I don't even know what to believe anymore.
I've showed her at an event as well. I don't believe it at all.
I just don't know. Like, what is that
she
true?
needs to say something just with the WTA there, or I don't know. It's not working at the moment, and we need to keep talking about it. And we're going to continue to talk about it on the podcast.
Meeting. Like, you need to have like a meeting with somebody, like, and maybe not in China. Maybe allow her to travel somewhere. Then we'll know.
I think that's going to be very difficult. But moving on to the last one, we've got Djokovic talking about it there as well. And he says, I support WTA's stance. It's life of a tennis player that is in question here. We need to stand together, male and female players, ATP and WTA. I thought that was a really nice statement from him. And when there's been a lot of negative press surrounding him at the moment, this is nice to see a good story regarding his stance on the Peng Shuai case. And he is standing by it as well and showing his support for a big name to be doing that. I think that really does help the cause.
Oh, it does, for sure. It's got anybody.
Raises awareness.
Well, that's the more people who speak about it, and the more people with a higher stature that do speak about it, the better. And I was actually pretty pleased that when I flicked on Joe Rogan's podcast, one of the first topics he spoke about on one of his latest podcasts was this story. And we know his reach as well. And I've had people, it's weird, isn't it? We were talking about this, 2 weeks ago or something? And now I've had friends and people suddenly starting to message me about it. It was sort of similar to like when we had Raducanu was doing well in the US Open. Oh, look, suddenly everyone's a tennis fan. Everyone knows what's going on. It's similar, but for a more sinister reason now. And at least the word, that means when you get people messaging you who aren't normally tennis like fanatics or fans, and they're just your regular friends who don't even watch tennis, then you know at least that it is out there now and it is common knowledge and the world is aware of this. And I think the more that happens, the better, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. Moving on to the final one. I don't think we've got any graphics for this, but I'll let Ben get up some of the draw, and that's Davis Cup action. Davis Cup's been a massive success. There's been a lot of good stories about it. Everyone seems to be enjoying it. I've not been able to watch as much as I'd have liked to. But of course, I've been
No.
following the results and seeing what's happening. And really, the big story for me was Italy. Going back to Monday, they lost to Croatia. Borna beating Senego in 3 sets. And that really set it up because we know the Croatians have a really good doubles pairing in Mekic Pavic. And they was able to
Yes.
beat Sinner Fanini in that one, which means, really, if you can win one of the singles, Croatia are going to always do very well. And that's my
Yes.
stance on it because their doubles pairing is dangerous. So Croatia could be some serious dark horses. And wait, I'm pretty confident they're still in. Have you got the draw up?
I'm just going to try and find it on.
I've sent it to you, mate, on the live in the private chat.
Yeah. It's I can't seem to bring it up on the to bring the results up. I can see.
No, you don't need the results. Just bring the draw up, and I'll talk through the results.
Okay, here we go. 1 sec. I think I've got it here.
So,
Here we go.
okay,
Yeah,
moving on to the next.
I've got it.
There we go. On the next day, we had obviously GB. They went out. Not good for them, losing to Germany. Cam Norrie losing to Struff. That was a big shock. And we know the Germans have great doubles as well. So does the UK, and it was very close. GB versus Germany. But there was 2 tie breaks, 12-10 in one of them, and then 7-5 in the other. And then the most recent ones, we've got Serbia going through, beating Kazakhstan. And today, Russia going through, beating Sweden. Didn't even need the doubles. They did it in 2. Rublev and Medvedev. You've got to favour the Russians. I think their team is so good. You've got Aslan Krastev lurking around. I know they won the ATP Cup last year as well. And right there, you can see the semi-finals now are going to be presented with Russia, Germany, and Croatia, Serbia.
Love that. Really, really nice matchups that we're going to have there. And obviously, well, Serbia, you'd fancy their chances. They've got one goal on there.
I think Croatia, they're real dark horses. The reason I say is their doubles is so good. And all they need to do, for me, is win one of the singles. And I think they'd always win the doubles one.
Yeah, they've definitely got a massive advantage in the doubles. That's it. But will they win one of the singles? That's the thing. Cilic, he's always got a chance. He always does.
I think Cilic would beat Kecmanovic.
Yeah, I mean, Kecmanovic didn't look that great, to be honest. So I see where you're coming from. He lost to Kukushkin in the Kazakhstani match, 2 tie breaks. I think you said that previously. It's possible.
It's not going to be that, though. It'll be Djokovic, Cilic Djokovic.
Yeah, obviously. You'd fancy Djokovic to win any singles that he's going to be playing in this one. And in the other side, obviously, Germany, Russia. It seems like it's the final of the ATP finals all over again. Zverev and Medvedev. Is Zverev, is he competing in this event?
No.
Nah, well, there you go. So we had Dan Evans versus Peter Giovcek. And Giovcek, I thought he'd do a bit better against Evans. Lost 6-2, 6-1.
Yeah, then Norrie lost. So I don't know. It wasn't meant to be for GB this year. No. Bit of a shambles, to be honest. Norrie needs to be doing better than that. We've got Davor here saying Gojo can beat anyone of the other Serbians. He's feeling confident.
Listen, Gojo, go on.
Look at his form. Look at Gojo's form. He's been playing very well. I don't know if you want to bring it up, or maybe I can.
I can bring it up if you want, man. Yeah.
Or you don't have to bring it up. Just talk through it.
Let's do it. I can't find it right now. Come on, I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it, mate. Let's do it. We're here, mate. We haven't done a pod in a while. We can bring up a little bit of form here.
He's been playing very well. I've been impressed with him. He's beaten. I've got it up now. He's beaten Poprin already, and then Senego. So Borna he is the ace up the sleeve. 23 years old. He's a player. Ben will tell you who I like a lot.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's doing it. That time.
Look at that. Beat Barankis there as well. Going back down. Just have a look at a few of his other good wins. Polman's.
Oh.
Wow. Let's not go too far.
No, he has beat Millman as well recently.
Let's go down and have a look at a few more matches, eh? He's a very decent player, though. 23. You remember, everybody sort of blooms at their own time. So don't just look at it and just think, he's over the hill.
No, he's not beating Millman. Davor was saying it was Poprin.
Look who he beat though, Talon Griekspoor.
Yeah,
Not many people
pretty
can
good.
say that.
No,
Talon
hardly anyone's beating him this year. It's a fair
Well,
play.
Talon Griekspoor, is he still on his ridiculous run at the moment? I don't think he's played since
No.
mid-November. He's taken a bit of time off, surprisingly, after playing however
Everywhere.
many tournaments. 5 in a row, was it? 5 tournament wins in a row for Talon Griekspoor. I mean, it's just bizarre. Don't know how he keeps doing it. Surely he's going to have to play some ATP events at some point soon.
Exactly.
Get out of those challenges, mate.
Well, it wasn't
You're
the
too
US
good.
Open playing against Djokovic, but I think that was the last loss he had. But I think we should wrap it up. I know we've got work tomorrow, and this one's definitely going on a bit.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say, Ben, quickly was your prediction for Davis Cup, and then we're going to wrap it up.
My prediction for Davis Cup, I think I'm going to go with Russia, to be honest, mate.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Go on.
I don't know. I'm going to go Russia as well. I think
Oh,
Russia
there
win
you go,
it.
Croatia. Darryl was hoping.
Croatia's my dark horse, but I think Russia win.
Quick shout out.
Listen, can't see how they lose.
Well, I know they're very good, the singles, but Rublev a little bit susceptible. I think we do have to give a shout out as well. We are the Brits, and Vance saying it rightly. Johanna Konta, she has retired from tennis. A bit sad. Somebody who you possibly could fancy to go deep in a Grand Slam, and not maybe in recent times, but she's still been one of our better players. Now, maybe the introduction of Raducanu and that type of thing has maybe helped her on her way. Like, no longer British number one. And
mate, she's a mom. She's choosing a family life. That's exactly what she's doing. Have her child and just enjoy that. Fair play to her.
Why
really
not?
lovely lady. Loves her dog, and I've got a lot of respect for her in that. As a tennis player, though, won't be missed from my perspective. I do not find her that enjoyable to watch. But lovely lady. I wish her all the best with her family life, and hopefully she's involved in tennis in some way, because I think she was a very good tennis player in spells at times, but not from. It just didn't excite me particularly much. I thought she was too inconsistent.
I didn't mind her, but for me, she always struggled against the power players, and that was always a big fear that she would come up against one. I think she lost I think it was Cerebres Tormo in quite dramatic fashion in one of her recent matches, and you saw what Raducanu did to her. So I think we'll end on that anyway.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. She does have a podcast as well, so go check out her podcast.
Nice.
Johanna Konta. I'm sure she's a good listen.
Anyway, thanks for joining us on this one. I know it's been a while. If you haven't already, hit the like button on the video. Subscribe if you're new. Rafa's going to be back. I'm excited.
GTL's back.
And GTL's back as well.
Come on.
And also check out our Patreon as well, because we've got some good interviews on there, and you can have an exclusive look into them if you are a patron. David Ferrer, Thomas Burgess, and plenty more added very soon. But for now, we love you and leave you, and see you on the next one.
Will do, guys. See you soon.